Alright viewers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope by the grace of God you are doing well. Well, in today's video, I have a diagram on the board which we have three resistors. Two of them are connected in parallel and one of them is connected in series with a parallel circuit. Alright, so we can say this is what? Series parallel circuit when it comes to resistors. Alright, so in the question we are asked to find R2, which the R2 is not given. The R2 is one of the resistor connected in parallel with the other resistor, and the R3 is given. So we are asked to find the R2, but luckily current flowing R2 is given, so it can help us to find R2 easily. And we are also you are also asked to find the current in resistor 1. We are also asked to find the current in resistor 2 and current in resistor 3. We are also asked to find the total current and the total voltage. Let me explain a little bit. What we only have to do in this case is that now the voltage given, there is a voltage given as 10 volts for this parallel circuit. That is the R1 and R2. So we know that this same 10 volts is what we use to calculate for the current in R1 and current in R2. Therefore, we can say, we will say that because when we look at resistors, when resistors are connected in parallel, same amount of voltage. So this 10 volt will be the same amount of voltage that will flow in I1 and I2. But when it comes to series, then we say what? Voltage is shared. So what we do here is that we use this voltage divided by I1 and then we'll get what? Divided by what? R1 and then we'll get R1. Current in R1. And we use the same voltage divided by what? R2 and we'll get current in R2. But here we don't know R2. So what do? Okay, let's put our Ohm's law triangle there so that we can derive our formula. We have voltage over IR. Alright, so let's put our formula. If we are looking for R, if you want to understand it simply, put your hand on R. R is equal to what? Voltage over I. And then put your hand in I. So I is equal to V over what? R. Then put your hand on V. V is equal to what? I times R. Alright, so these are the formula. We'll use them. So here we say number 1, find R2. So we say R2 is equal to, we are using the formula what? V over I, what we derived from the Ohm's law triangle. So we are using V over what? I. And the V here is what? The parallel voltage over the current in what? R2. So that is how it is. To find the R2, just use the voltage that is given for the parallel circuit, divide it with what? 2.5. So we have 10 divided by 2.5. So R2, let's see what we have. So 10 divided by 2.5. You can also use your calculator. We have 4. So we have 4 what? Ohms. So this becomes our R2. So now we have number 1, R2 here. Now we are asked to find current in R1, current in R2, current in R3. Okay. First of all, in the second stage, I want us to calculate for the total resistance. Even though we are not asked to calculate for the total resistance, but at the end of the calculation, we'll use that total resistance to check whether our answer is correct. Alright, so total resistance, we know in parallel circuit, when two resistors are connected in parallel, you use the formula product over sum. When I say product over sum, it's like this. So here, because there are two, we say R1 times R2. So this is the product over what? Sum, which is what? R1 plus R2. So this is the sum, product over sum. Plus, we know why is it plus? Because R3 is connected in series. Plus what? R3. So total resistance is equal to what? R1 is 3, R2 times R2 is what? 4. That is what we had here, 4 over 3 plus what? 4 plus R3 is what? 4.5. So total resistance is equal to 3 multiplied by 4 will give us 12, and 3 plus 4 will give us 7 plus 4.5. So total resistance, okay, you can use your calculator to check this. So 12 divided by 7, we have 1.7. So 1.7 plus 4.5. So total resistance is equal to, so let's check and see, 1.7 plus 4.5, we have 6.2 ohms. So we have 6.2 ohms. Now that we know this, I want this to remain like this. At the end, we'll use to check for something, and we'll see that it will help us to know whether our answer is correct. All right. So we are asked to find the current in R1. The current in R1, because the voltage for flowing or dissipating or flowing across the power circuit is given as 10 volts, then we say number 2, current in R1, the same amount of voltage. So we say voltage in parallel over the R1, because we are looking for the current in R1. So over R1, which is 10, R1 is what? 3. So current in R1 is equal to 10 divided by 3. Let's do it with a calculator. You can also check 10 divided by 3. We have 3.3 amps. So 3.3 amps. So this becomes our current. This becomes our current flowing in R1. 3.3 amps. All right. They also say current in R2. Well, we know that the current in R2 is 2.5. So just put it there. Current in R2 is 2.5 amps. All right. So we are looking for current in what? R3. And this is how we find current in R3. Current in R3, you know, when current moves from here and moves from here, when they come to this junction, they meet and they flow into this R3. That is the norm. As time goes on, we'll do practice, electrical practice or demonstration. Maybe we'll use voltage. We will regulate the voltage to 10, and then we'll use to check all this. That is another time we'll use to demonstrate, and you see it's correct. So the current in R1, the current in R2, when you add them, it becomes the current in R3. Don't hesitate when an exam, it comes to an exam and a question is given to you this way. Don't worry. Just add the current in R1, the current in R2. That gives you the R3. So you say current in R1 plus current in R2. So current in R3 is, current in R1 is what? 3.3. And current in R2 is 2.5. When you add them, 3 plus 2 is 5. 3 plus 5 is what? 8. 5.8 amps. So this is the current flowing in R3. And mind you, the current that flows in R3, because it's a series, it becomes the total current. So here we say number 3. Number 3 is say find the total current. So what you only tell them is that number 3, total current is the same, is equal to what? Current in what? R3. That is the no. So we say total current is equal to what? 5.8 amps. As we continue, you'll see that our answer will be correct. All right. So they are asked us to find the total voltage. Now, to find the total voltage, we must know the voltage across this series resistor. And how do we do it? Let's look for current in R3, which is 5.8. So we say voltage in resistor 3. So the voltage across this 4.5 ohms is equal to what? That is the current in R3 multiply by the R3. So you multiply by the R3, so voltage in R3 is equal to, so current in R3 is what we work here as 5.8, and then the R3 is what? 4.5. So here we have voltage in R3 is equal to, so let's do it together. Use your calculator. 5.8 multiplied by 4.5. We have our answer as 26.1 volts. So this becomes our voltage across resistor 3. As we can see, this becomes the voltage across resistor 3. So as we have the voltage across resistor 3, this voltage now, when you add it to this, becomes the total voltage. As we do, we use the total voltage divided by the total resistance, and we'll see that we'll have the total current. Let's do it and see whether our answer is correct. So we say total, number 4, total voltage is equal to voltage in parallel plus voltage in resistor 3. So total voltage is equal to, voltage in parallel is what? 10 plus voltage in resistor 3 is what? 26.1. So total voltage becomes 10 plus 26.1 becomes what? 36.1 volts. Let's see whether our answer is correct. Now, to know whether our answer is correct, let's check for our total current by using this formula. Total voltage, we know total current, which is I. Formula for I, that is current, is V over R. Our total voltage is 36.1. So let's divide 36 divided by what? 36 divided by what? The total resistance. So this is the total resistance. And see whether we'll have the total current. And it will help us to know or to prove whether our answer is correct. So 36, you can also use your calculator. 36 divided by 1. 36.1 divided by what? 6.2. 6.2. Yes, we have 5.8 as the total current. Now, let's check and see whether we'll have 4.5. Our voltage across the 4.5 ohms resistor, where is it? So voltage across 4.5 resistor is what? 26.1. Let's use 26.1 divided by the current in R3. So 26.1 divided by what? Current in current in our I3, which is 5.8. Yes, we have 4.5 ohms. So that is how is it. And when you multiply 4.5 plus by the current, that is 5.8, you have what? 26.1. So that is it. Just follow the steps. It's not difficult. And this also 10 volts. When you use this 10 volts, this 10 divided by R2, you get what? The current in resistor 2. And then voltage divided by R1 will give the current in R1. So this is the answer. Just take your time, follow the steps, and it is not difficult. You understand. Well, as you go by and you check or you play my video and see how the calculation is, you can comment below, share my video, like my video, and subscribe my video. As usual, sow your today and reap your tomorrow. Bye bye.